Well, hello and welcome. I'm really early tonight. Yeah, I'm not feeling the greatest, but I thought if I came on now, there's been so much happen that we have to talk about. So I thought we'd come on early and I can get to bed at a reasonable time or an earlier time, and we can chat again tomorrow. So yeah, I hope you're feeling good. It's just been a really long day. I had a few computer troubles today, so I think it's just a little bit of everything. So you have no, Sky. I don't have COVID. No, I don't. That I know for sure. Plus, I haven't been out anywhere. Hello, Tanya. Yeah, look, I will be. It's just, yeah, that's fine. I know I'm early, Laura. Yeah, I'm early. Plus, the other thing is I'm getting bored. I get bored. And I go, oh, yeah. So, all right. So I want to, we're going to start off with some Friendlyjordies stuff. All right. So here, and he wants one. All right. You don't get bored? Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I've been doing lots of reading, but I think I've just spent too much time in front of the computer. So do I think Australia is turning into a police state? I don't know. I know that we have a bunch of Muppets running the country. So hi, Christine. So I was searching for I just seen what the papers were talking about Friendlyjordies, and I came across this. This is this ZDNet magazine or news. So we're getting It's good. So it says, so this is a focus on Google. Google served in John Barilaro defamation lawsuit with Friendlyjordies content. So let's have a look at this. This gives a slightly different perspective. It says on Friday morning, the Australian Federal Court ordered Google to be served with defamation lawsuit from New South Wales Deputy Premier John Barilaro, with the politician alleging Google is a publisher of the content. Now, if Google is a publisher, it means it changes the whole content. It changes the whole scope of everything. It changes, because YouTube is a platform. I've never thought of it as a publisher, but anyway. If it is a publisher, then that's responsible for everything that's published. Very disrespectful to the Muppets. Yeah, I know. I couldn't think of anything else. And what do you think about New South Wales giving the news to the people of regional New South Wales about lockdown via Twitter? As somebody on Twitter pointed out, said, how does Barilaro expect people to see his Twitter when he's blocked half the state? Amy, I reckon Google would be getting involved to protect persons themselves. Yeah, one and a half hours notice on Twitter, and Gladys is nowhere to be seen. So it says New South Wales Deputy Premier John Barilaro's defamation lawsuit against Jordan Shanks Markovina, also known as Friendlyjordies, has taken an interesting turn, with Google joining to the fold. Hello, Vedandra. Shanks Markovina is an Australian YouTuber who makes videos that satirise and provide commentary on the country's politics. Well, that's what I'm saying. Shanks Markovina, along with his producer Christo Lanka, were sued by Barilaro 3 months ago, with the Deputy Premier accusing them of making content that defamed him and framed him as a corrupt politician. The content in question, a video titled Bruz and another called Secret Dictatorship, were published in September and October last year. In addition to the lawsuit, Lanka was charged in June by the New South Wales Police Fixated Persons Unit with 2 counts of stalking or intimidating Barilaro with the intent to cause fear of physical or mental harm. Google is tied to the lawsuit as the video continues to be accessible on YouTube, which Barilaro alleges makes Google a publisher of the videos. As I said, if Google becomes a publisher, then they're responsible for everything on the website, and then it means that every video that gets published would have to be fact-checked. Could you imagine Katie Joy having all her videos fact-checked? I mean, might be a good thing for her, but it would mess up someone's day. In addition to making that claim, Barilaro submitted that Google should be served with the lawsuit. At the federal court on Friday, Justice Stephen Rez agreed with the submission and ordered for Google to be served with defamation lawsuit. Well, they were served. After the hearing, yes, they did ban Sky News for a week. Google said that they will be defending the claims made by Barilaro. The decision to join the lawsuit was made after the judge accepted the company be served, or he accepted that they were served. Since the lawsuit began, Shanks Markovina has received 24,000 donations to fund his defence against the defamation lawsuit. In total, the donations amount to $1 million Australian dollars. The money has been deposited into a trust fund for Xenophon Davis lawyers, Shanks Markovina said on his website. So that's what. So this, of course, being a technology type stuff, they're focused on the Google aspect. So I thought it was interesting. But it's interesting that they said he makes satirized. He satirizes. He does satire. I mean, it's trying to conflate people using song to express opinions in traditional media. Yeah. Well, I haven't heard any. I cannot find anything to do with the anything to do with Christo Lanka at all, other than his original arrest. So I don't know what's happened. So, but I just found it interesting that that's the Google perspective. So, and as I said, Google is going to Google is supporting the jury trial, which is unheard of in civil lawsuits in Australia. I was wondering if Dan Andrews was. I did respond to Gladys. Somebody put something about, can Gladys not do 2 press conferences a day? And I said, well, Dan has when he's had 2. And I went, oh, there's the problem. She won't do what Victoria's done. Well, Friendlyjordies has said that he actually has a warrant out for his arrest, but they've not done it yet. I would imagine that he's sort of waiting. The judge is pro-jury trials for defamation cases and actually did a talker. Oh, is he? Wow. Yeah, I think Shank said in one of his videos that there's a warrant out for him, and they hadn't called it in yet, and he was sort of waiting to see when they were going to do it. That's right. Why haven't they executed it? Well, I want to know why Barilaro is pursuing this case when his whole state's now the state that he's deputy premier of has just gone into complete and utter lockdown. Shouldn't he have been paying attention to what's going on rather than on his own self? I'm just really poking the bear here. Because I believe that they are aware. I believe they are aware of, I'm sure that I've read it. Even I think Xenophon Davis has said that it's out on him. They're waiting. I don't think they would dare with all the stuff that they got for all the angst they got for Christo. I doubt that. So this is his Twitter. This is Barilaro's Twitter, and I haven't been blocked yet. I don't know why. It says, Deputy Premier New South Wales joins me live on Sky News at 5:10 as the whole state goes into lockdown. And the other thing that people are complaining about is that they were saying that it was the first time that they discovered about regional New South Wales going to lockdown was from Bruzz's Twitter account. And then the health department. See, that was 4 hours ago, 3 hours ago, an hour before the health department, before the media release, Bruzman had already advertised it on his Twitter account. So everybody that wasn't blocked on his Twitter knew about it before everybody else. And he was on the ABC. It was 3 hours ago, and she put him through a bit of a roasting. I hope they talk about his daughter. So you can't tell me that when they did their 11 o'clock press conference that they didn't know that locking down the whole state was on the question. You can't tell me that there was no discussion today about locking the state down. Victoria actually spends most of the night. They do it overnight and into the early hours of the morning and then back into it first thing in the morning. But that's right. We can't do what Victoria does. Hey, short order cook, how are you? Bruz has been charged with impersonating a human. The other thing is I found it very interesting that his lawyer kept talking about how they didn't want to delay it, had to be dealt with very quickly, and the judge says, we don't have time to muck around because there's a pandemic on. Well, there was a pandemic on when he filed the lawsuit. when he filed his defamation claim, we were still in a national pandemic. Sorry, there was still a pandemic. He could have waited, but he didn't. I've just got a little bit of a headache. But rather than gross all the gentlemen out, it's something that happens every month, and you fill whatever dots you need to fill in with that statement. That's about all that I will say. I could say more, but it will gross people out now. And I always had kids. Nothing says you out. Teenagers. If you survive teenage boys, you can survive anything. Oh dear. What I say. So where do we reckon who survived being a teenager? Justice rare speeches and papers during defamation trials. My view is that history is turned better one. Cool. What's on Jordan's odds? I have no idea what his odds are. Look, I thought Braz's case was meritless, but so you get your internet. Yeah. But the thing is, I mean, you had Porter that discontinued his to stop the truth from getting out. Lamings went for settlement. I don't know what happened there. Braz, two things are going to happen. He's going to realise what Jordan's got on him, and he's going to not want to get out, and so he'll try and settle. Or he's going to take his chances, and the truth will show that Shanks was right and he's a corrupt con man. And then he'll be out of a job. Braz, I mean. They'll execute the warrant for Jordan's arrests when it gets too tough, I reckon. But they're really, because there's so much heat over Christos that they don't really want to. I missed the word bill in the last comment. I don't know what Shanks has got, because he can't use parliamentary privilege. He has to find it somewhere else. Unless he appeals parliamentary privilege. Hello, Gail. So if they can find that the judge erred on the law in interpreting the law, they could get parliamentary privilege back. But there's nothing to stop Shanks from writing to the leader of both houses asking for parliamentary privilege to be waived. I don't think it would be, but you could ask. But if he's relying on newspapers, the newspapers would have had their evidence from somewhere. And, if then he'd be using it based on evidence. Well, that's maybe the way that they're going to have to do it, as a constitutional challenge. But you have constitutional. I'm not even a lawyer, but you would need a constitutional lawyer probably for that. I don't know what it's for, but Jordan has said that he's got one, and his lawyers have admitted that there is one, but it's not been executed. I think I object to the fact that a politician can say anything under parliamentary privilege, even if it's a lie, and the general public can't hold them to account. That's what my issue is, and that's what really was what Justice Reyes said yesterday, that we can't use it. Well, Google will be able to show that how much exact money has been made from those videos. It's not hundreds of thousands of dollars like Bruz's lawyer was implying. The only person that's getting hundreds of thousands of dollars is both of them. So, well, the law goes back to 1688, so it is archaic. As we discovered last night when we read through the judgment, that the law is very archaic. So, Dr. Matt Collins, QC, he's a QC, so he's very well versed. He wrote some of the defamation textbooks that's used in law these days, so he knows how it works. I would imagine that he's got a few tricks up his sleeve. I think now that they've got to rewrite the defence, he can go in hard. Right. Oh, wow, that's it. He's got a band, has he? Neoclassical post-rock band. I produced their album for them. Wow. Nice. Is it any good? We need new laws. The problem, it's good that a light is on this now. We need to hold them accountable. Well, the issue that I see is that these politicians work for the people. The people don't work for the politicians, and they've had such a free ride for so long of being able to push everything under the table and sweep everything under the carpet and look after their mates. Well, don't forget, his lawyer also said that corruption was okay if it was well-intended. Still can't get over that one. So, oh, okay. So what's a little perjury between friends? Thoughts around Gladys? Why does she always, here's my thoughts about Gladys. So for those of you that are overseas, today it was, so they did their New South Wales did their press conference in the morning. There was a Twitter message to go out to say that in an hour, at 5 o'clock, they got an hour and a half notice or 2 hours notice. It came by Twitter that the rest of the state would be locked down. Somebody was complaining that they had driven their kids to their grandmother's house, to their parents' house. The parents were 2 hours away. They'd just got home. They've driven all the way back to go pick up their kids to bring them back home again because they can't stay there. And they didn't face the press. They haven't faced the press. She's had Bruz do it, although he does need to be under some scrutiny. And she's gone MIA. Is it a long weekend? Short order cook. It's the 5 p.m. Friday laws on a long weekend that really make me mad. It's just to bring in and say they would have been better off saying at midnight tonight. That gives people 5 or 6 hours to sort their lives out. But 3 hours is not enough time. I'd rather Miss Piggy running the country than Gladys. You mean the state, not the country, thankfully. I know I replied to somebody that I'll take dictator Dan any day. I know someone's done a comparison between her and Gonzo, but that's really mean. So, yeah. I don't know that there is. You can all have our premiere. Nah. No, I haven't seen the TikTok song. No. So an overseas poster asked, why do we have Klinger as a state premier? I've heard a lot about it being called Klinger. I agree, physics. Down under, I do agree. I'm not one for looks. Bin chicken is the best one. Oh dear. Gail, you're not getting ours. Though there are a few people. I mean, I know that one of the Murdoch paper journalists was asked today on Twitter, so when are you gonna go to Sydney? Leave. It's about time that you actually left Dan alone. So, because they still put him through the ringer. I mean, they're already onto him because, you know, they're going, oh, does that mean lockdown's going to be extended another week? I think it will be. We've got to get rid of it. We've got to get all the cases in quarantine. So, all right, so this is who's this one? This is the ABC's reporting of Friendlyjordies, and then we'll get on to the Katie Joy mess, because the reason why I started early is it's going to take us the rest of the night to get through it all. I'm just in shock, to be honest with you. And that reminds me, I haven't downloaded the live. YouTube comedian Jordan Shanks has been dealt a preliminary blow in the case against him by New South Wales Deputy Premier John Barilaro after the judge rejected 2 of his proposed defences. Thank you, Mark. Mr. Barilaro launched the case against Mr. Shanks, who's better known by his online moniker Friendlyjordies, in May over 2 sketch videos published in September and October. Isn't it funny that the media talks about them being satire and parodies and sketch videos, and yet for some reason Bruz is offended by sketch videos, parodies? How would he have gone back in the day with the comedy company? And imagine if what's his name, who played Barry Humphries? What would he do if Barry Humphries got hold of him? So everyone's saying they're sketch videos. They are. They're parodies, satire. That's still going on at the moment. In fact, I need to find out. I haven't seen any reporting on what happened to Sky News yesterday in the Senate. No one said anything. His lawyer alleged that he was defamed by imputations, including that he's a corrupt con man. Well, you could say that's a statement of fact. Committed perjury 9 times and should be jailed. Corruptly voted against the Royal Commission into water theft and corruptly gave $3.3 million to a beef company. Mr. Shanks proposed to argue that the imputation about perjury was true, and the comment about being jailed was an honest opinion because they relate to comments Barilaro made in the parliamentary committee in 2018. But since he could not do this without parliamentary privilege being waived, he sought to have Barilaro's case struck out because he could not mount a defence. Justice Stephen Reyes on Friday ruled Mr. Shanks cannot be allowed to rely on the proposed defences, and that his difficulty in pleading from a defence flows from his own decisions as to what he said and how he conveyed those defamatory meanings. Hey, Mr. Obvious. The judge noted the first video titled Bras appeared to have been scripted and produced with considerable technical skills and support. It was not a spontaneous or unprepared publication. So there's a hint for you. If you're going to defame a politician, make sure that it's spontaneous and unprepared. That's what he said. He said that. He said it had been scripted and produced with technical skills and support. It was not a spontaneous or unprepared publication. I don't know where he's stuck, GF. In particular, Mr. Shanks chose what he said in it and how he said it. In the Bros video, Mr. Shanks was not responding to attack made by Mr. Barilaro on him under parliamentary privilege. That's the other way that he could have dealt with it. Get Bros to speak about him in Parliament. The judge rejected the bid to have Mr. Barilaro's 2 imputations struck out. He described Mr. Shanks' defence as being pleaded defectively, having accepted some of Mr. Barilaro's arguments and rejected others. However, Mr. Shanks has been allowed time to reformulate some of his case. Mr. Barilaro's wrote to Google last year requesting the video be removed due to its vile and racist language. Well, I would say that if they made a complaint about it, YouTube's obviously looked at it and have deemed that it hasn't broken any of their terms, because they strike videos for a lot less than this. So on Friday, Google revealed in court it was finalising the defence and was considering whether it would rely on qualified privilege and honest opinion. So they're talking about qualified privilege and honest opinion. The tech giant will also join or support Mr. Shanks' application for a jury trial, which is rare in the federal court. Sue Chrysanthu, SC for Mr. Barilaro, took a swipe at Google for requesting extra time in its defence. They're a $1 trillion company, Your Honour. They're keeping this material online contrary to their policies in relation to racism. They're making huge amount of monies from advertisers, huge advertisers like Coles and Hungry Jack's. The second video is alleged to have painted Mr. Barilaro as acted corruptly by engaging in blackmail. Mr. Barilaro's statement of claim says he had been brought into public disrepute, odium, ridicule and contempt. No, Mr. Barilaro, you did that on your own, in my opinion. At the time the case was launched, the 2 clips had collectively amassed close to 1 million views. The firm representing Mr. Shanks, Xenophon Davis, has said the $1 million has been crowdfunded for his legal defence. Mr. Shanks, who had nearly 490,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, has previously said it would carry terrible implications for free speech in this country. He's now got 526,000. So Braz is actually giving him a lot more popularity. It's like someone else that I know that if they just, if they just kept their mouth shut, stayed in their lane, but Braz, wants to, the hurt feeling defence. I don't think he was, is doing a parody of an Italian though, is that now racist? Because you had Con the Frusherer by Mark Mitchell. Would that be deemed racist now? That's what I want to know, because it makes no sense. Buffering a bit. Stupid internet. NBN. It might be you, Gail. You're talking badly about Anastasia and she's buffering the internet. No, his name isn't John. It's Giovanni. Can you remember Con the Fuchsia? Yeah. I mean, that's essentially what. Oh, well, I don't know these things skinned. I mean, lambing suit, Porter suit, Dutton hasn't Dutton sued. Isn't Dutton in mediation at the moment? I think Dutton's in mediation at the moment over a defamation. A lot of the stuff that we found funny would be classed as racist. Barilaro would find all of those racist, I would say. Are you being buffering too, Physics Down Under? Yeah. So I would say usually when someone complains, Google looks at the video. The word bras is synonymous with bra, and bra it has satirical implications far removed from racial stereotypes. Yeah. Well, is he objecting to bras? Because everyone refers to him as bras on Twitter. and Helen Dalton calls him bras. Oh, see, I love Ted Bullpitt. I really do. But that show would be deemed racist now. Really racist. But as I say to people, you got to remember that in the 80s, Australia was grappling with this. And it's really interesting to see how far we've come as a nation. We're not perfect, but yeah. Oh, Kingswood country. I still say leave the money on the fridge. How was your day? You'd also say this show was misogynistic as well, but it was funny. The Greyhounds? Is it Anakubra? Oh, I don't know. I can't think of the other one. You know. Kingswood country, hilarious. Not the Kingswood. Can't take the Kingswood. I just shampooed the carpet. Well, apparently the Herald Sun has just tweeted that it looks like lockdown's going to be extended beyond Friday. Hey, I have already said that. I said that before they even posted it. See, Herald Sun must be listening to me. But again, they just want to fearmonger everybody because we had 21 cases, 10 were out in the community. Until we get them all quarantined, he would be politically incorrect now. Oh. Most Italians I know have the best sense of humor. Most of the ones that I know. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah, shampooed the bumper bar. That's it. Shampooed the bumper bar, yeah. And when he had to get he wanted air conditioning for the carport, like to keep the Kingswood nice and cool, or the and the there was the episode where Graham Kennedy. Sorry to all the people from overseas. We're just having a reminiscence. We're reminiscing at the moment. Reminiscing. When Graham Kennedy was on the show and the meatloaf and the dog food were identical, and he feeds and he feeds Graham Kennedy the dog food. I remember introducing that. That was one of the shows I introduced to my kids. I'd introduce it. I would show Harrison, but he would, if you said to him, "How was your day?" he'd say, Be awful, of course, so I had to stop. Anyway, yeah, that was a great show. Oh, he could be the son-in-law. Bruz could be the son-in-law. For a guy from rural New South Wales, he seems very thin-skinned, just saying. Interesting. We should do a trip down memory lane. But yeah, we should do. But yeah. So what makes the New South Wales Premier so good that she won't do a second press conference? Or is it that she's scared of having egg on her face? Bras in the purple Valiant. Park it down the street so no one knows it's here. Oh dear me. He could be just like Paul Hogan. The thing is, the jury trial is the best. Who's having a Gladys? Or is she having a? I think she was forced to do the lockdown and sulking. Well, I was reading somewhere today that Dr. Chant had told her weeks ago to lock down the whole state, and she's ignored her. And apparently, Dr. Chant had been writing the same thing to her, the same recommendation to her every day. So, yeah, I just don't know. I'm not taking the Kingswood. It's funny whenever somebody wants to borrow my car because I've got a Kia, and I go, the Kia? You're not taking the Kia? Oh. Oh, look, Gail, lockdown queen, lockdown experts in Victoria. We know the drill. We know how to do it. I've been told I've got to put in special consideration again for the rest of the year, and I said to them, why should I waste my time? We're probably going to spend most of it in lockdown. Yes, that has coincided with that. Well, it's interesting. There was I was watching, is it Swollen Pickles? I was watching one of the videos, and where Gladys said something, and now the health officer will confirm what I said, and the deputy health officer didn't actually confirm, didn't actually say what they said. I need to, and I need to get a hot water, go take a hot water bottle out to the Kia. And said nothing useful about health, but talked about stricter lockdowns again. She was not helpful at all. Oh boy, I love it. Oh, you saw that, Sky, on Well, the thing about the stuff that Swollen Pickle has said is the stuff that she said about Victoria. You know, and she's been scathing to Victoria, and and the other thing is both ACT and Victoria can link their stuff back to WA. So let's have a look. We're gonna watch this off the side. We're gonna watch a swollen pickle. Let's educate our overseas friends on what's really going on. Oh, I like this one because this one talks about a crystal ball, and we know someone that doesn't have a crystal ball. And let's watch this one. So Swollen Pickles is the person. I'll link it below. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. I drove mine today. I actually put petrol in it. I only put $20 in it because I figure I won't need much more than that. So this is Swollen Pickles. Make sure you subscribe. All right.
And other states.
Go. Oh, Jimmy Rees.
If you look at the vaccination rates around the world and the Delta strain, other countries who've got higher vaccination rates than ours and others have seen thousands and thousands of cases and so many deaths because of Delta. Yeah. Please know we've avoided that in New South Wales.
But our numbers are still going up, and we haven't handled it as well as, say, Victoria has.
Well, look, in other states, they've had up to 5 lockdowns. This is our second. And I can't account for, I don't want to compare ourselves to other states.
Do you regret not locking down harder?
Well, look, can I say our rules in New South Wales are stricter now than they have been in any other state.
An example a few weeks ago, were they?
Ted would say, people be grandmother, yeah. New South Wales took weeks to introduce restrictions to limit movement and therefore the spread of the virus. Before that, there were recommendations and pleadings, directives were vague, and there was a lack of clarity around what was essential work in retail.
In relation to mask wearing, we're recommending going to an indoor venue that you wear a mask. Now, it's not compulsory, but we are strongly recommending that.
Obviously, you're allowed outside to purchase goods, essential goods, services.
So we've made it very clear that retail stores can be open, but obviously we're expecting the community to go out only for essential buying. Just usual.
So essential buying was like Norman? Was that Harvey Norman, like a lounge suite? That was essential buying?
Shops that clear to fit into the essential category don't have to open.
There was. We could only, there was limits. There was a curfew. We actually had a curfew at night. We could only have one person leave the house at a time. You couldn't go to the shops with more than, only one person could go to the shops. We could only be out of the house for an hour a day. Oh, I had the same problem. I've got a short order cook. In fact, I've got to pay my registration, and I've spent 199 days or something, 200 days of the last year in lockdown. I want a refund. Not going to happen. So, yeah, we could only be out for an hour a day. Yeah, we had strict lockdown. We had to be all tucked up in bed by a certain time. So, I don't know why she was against mask wearing. Yeah.
What we need to know in New South Wales is I wish I had a crystal ball.
Go ask Katie Joy.
Well, in total, we've seen just over 1,300 cases of this Indian variant.
Oh, that's Matt Hancock before he got sacked as health minister, or before he resigned as health minister. The other thing is, it's also interesting how all her tougher lockdown restrictions came in after the National Cabinet was yesterday, and all the premiers gave her a hard time. She's probably sulking about the fact that they've all picked on her. So the UK talking about it. This is what.
Because this variant can spread even faster than the Kent. If it gets out of hand, we'll have a very, very large number of cases. And so even with the protection that the vaccine gives you, That is, the vaccine protection is very high, but it is not absolute.
Where we have seen transmission in these places with very fleeting contact. This is stranger to stranger transmission.
Now, remember on the 1st of June when Victoria got canned for talking about fleeting contact? They got canned for it. Well, ask Todd here. He does have crystal ones. Hey, do you know he started inserting himself in the Todd Chrisley, Katie Joy stuff too? Oh, that's popcorn. As I said, you need your popcorn for that one.
That variant is the Delta variant, so it's the B1617.
Isn't he? I'm not one. I know I'm not one for looks, but I have to say, isn't he good to look at? Living through last year's Melbourne lockdown, moved to Queensland. Isn't he good to look at? I have to say. I have to say.
0.2 variant that is now infamous in India and increasingly in the United Kingdom. It is a variant of significant concern. It does.
So this is the 4th of June. Well, he did talk about a ring of steel. That's and we have a ring of steel because we're not allowed to. I can't go to the country, and the country can't come to the city unless it's, you know, if they've got a medical appointment. You know, the country have to come to the city for a medical appointment because that's where the specialist is. They can come, but you just can't. You just can't go pack up and go to your holiday house because you've got a holiday house there. There's really strict conditions on movement.
Appear to be the most significant in terms of transmissibility. There isn't much information about severity of illness with this variant, although there are some anecdotal reports of greater severity of illness in children, as well as potential increased transmissibility in children.
He's even talked about children. They were calling him Choddy last year. Do I know anything about the $320 payment for anyone who gets COVID tests? Are you talking about Victoria or New South Wales? I don't know. Don't be deceived by good looks. Hey, I'm in. He could tell me the sky's green. Short order cook. I'd believe you. Only one person can visit your holiday house now. This is the problem. Gladys doesn't have him for the show.
So we've got concerns for that reason.
As we disclosed, as soon as we found out yesterday evening, the limousine driver tested positive yesterday, as did his wife, the household contact. But we can further update you this morning to say that a woman of 70 years of...
So this is on the 17th of June. Victoria was talking about the 4th of June. Was talking about this virus on the 4th of June. I don't know, Gail. I don't know. In Melbourne, in summer, you can see a lot of naked people on balconies. I'm just saying. You drive through the city at the right time, there's lots of naked people on balconies. There's a whole fan club. I'm not part of it.
age, who also was at the Bell Cafe on New South Head Road in Vaucluse, has also tested positive. We know the virus has the potential to have been circulating in Eastern Sydney in particular. So in relation to mask wearing, we're recommending that in all indoor venues in Greater Sydney, and again, strictly Greater Sydney, excluding Central Coast, Illawarra and Wollongong, that if you're going to an indoor venue, that you wear a mask. Now, it's not compulsory, but we are strongly recommending that. If you are planning to go to an organised event, those events should...
Bet you they wishing now they locked down with 4 cases, eh? Victoria locked down with a couple.
Proceed. So we don't want anyone to cancel any events. We know from the number of cases that we've seen already in this particular cluster, that's in some instances the exchanges have been scaringly fleeting. Literally people coming within not even touching each other, but literally fleetingly coming into the same airspace has seen the virus transfer from one person to another. That's how contagious it is.
I know they don't have a drone. No, the health minister does it all. And they don't have a drone. They need a drone. They actually need the dream team. Show me the PCR test replication numbers. I know that Victoria talks about. I haven't watched a press conference in a while, to be honest. But
And that's how contagious some people are. There's all those places already have requirements for QR code, but we are in the process of extending it to all retail outlets. I think that's a first in Australia.
We were QRing way before you, my dear. I think Braz is trying to be a drone, yeah. There's only one drone and he's ours. I tell you what, he doesn't put up with the dumb questions from the media, though. He does not put up with those dumb questions. And I have to say, I didn't really like Merlino when he started as Deputy Premier, but when he was going off at when he started doing no nonsense with the press as well, I thought, yeah, I like you. Mop down, yes. So we mandated, so we've been QRing for ages, but everybody had to, it was a $10,000 fine from the 4th of June.
Yes, we've asked everybody to wear a mask in certain settings, but we're still allowing people to freely get about their business, although we're asking everybody to be cautious.
I think that the restrictions that they've put in place are understandable and common sense, and I commend Premier Berejiklian for resisting going into a full lockdown.
As at 8 p.m. last night, there were 10 cases of community transmission in New South Wales. 9 of those you'd already been made aware of yesterday. The 10th one is an additional person that attended that party where the worker from Junction also.
So there's a party that was a super spreader. Hey, I thought that he did a good job too. And thank you, is it D. Culligan? Thank you for subbing. Thank you. I thought he did a good job as well.
Attended. So we don't want anyone to cancel any events. So they are the 10 cases to 8 p.m. last night. Unfortunately, since 8 p.m. last night, New South Wales has recorded an additional 13 cases of community transmission, 8 of which were at that same party. So yesterday we mentioned a party which was attended by a worker from Bondi Junction. That party had an additional case.
Well, they had 400 over 400 today. They hit the 400 mark. I mean, yeah, the Ruby Princess was early in the year.
8 p.m. last night, and 8 additional cases from 8 p.m. till now. So we don't want anyone to cancel any events. The following restrictions apply to everybody living in Sydney, Blue Mountain, Central Coast, Wollongong and Shell Harbour, unless it's essential. So unless it's essential travel, unless it's absolutely essential, please abandon non-essential activities unless you have to. New South Wales, unlike other states, has never determined what is essential and what is not essential.
In terms of essential work, the employer and the employee would know whether that particular worker was essential to the particular circumstances. And so
yeah. Oh, yeah, the 5s. Michelle Roberts, yeah, I mean, we've had QR codes since last year as well. I've been QRing for months. We've had a couple of short lockdowns. We only need a sniff of COVID. Well, that's what most of the other states do. Most other states ACT locked down with 1 case. They've now got 2. This is Swollen Pickles, Wizard X. It's on a channel called Swollen Pickles. I will put the link to the video here and you can click on it because there's a whole pile of videos and they're funny as. This is an older one. That's not the video. I'm glad I checked because I don't know what video I was going to be giving you. Let me just grab this again. So this is Swollen Pickles video. So I would suggest subbing.
Will be left to the worker and to the employer.
So we're not going to restrict people's movement or what they do.
I like that. Have they got 6 now? You don't need a crystal ball to know that this car is going to hit the wall. The first month of Sydney's second wave was like watching a slow motion car crash.
We know the virus has the potential to have been circulating in Eastern Sydney in particular. So we don't want anyone to cancel any events, but we're still allowing people to freely get about their business. So we're not going to restrict people's movement or what they do. We know from the number of cases that we've seen already in this particular cluster that in some instances the exchanges have been scaringly fleeting. Literally people coming within, not even physically touching each other, but literally fleetingly coming into the same airspace has seen the virus transfer from one person to another. That's how contagious it is, and that's how contagious.
That's what Dan the man said.
And I hope we've demonstrated to other states that it is possible to manage an outbreak and not shut down a city and not stop businesses and not stop people being employed and not stop people having a relatively normal existence.
Oh, it's 6 people now, is it? Okay, there was another one, because there's another one there that they've got that's really good, and it's where she's talking about the fact that Victoria wanted some vaccines and she wasn't give it to them, and, you know, New South Wales always bails out all the other states' problems. So this is this one. Oh, this is the mystery of the 17-page list. The widening of the second wave. Oh, this one is all right. Let's look at this one, and then we'll move on to something else. This is 3 minutes.
I keep saying to people, it's not for me to comment on what other governments do. Well, look, in other states, they've had up to 5 lockdowns. This is our second. It's not for me to comment on what other governments do. WA and Queensland, frankly, have elections. So it's cute for the Queensland Premier to say the day before her election, oh, I'll tell you what we're doing with the border. And then the Premier, I don't think has an election till March next year and is clearly holding out for that. You know, I don't want to compare ourselves to other states. It's not for me to comment on what other governments do.
As I've said before, you know, in the next 6 months, premiers of other states may not feel the heat from their decisions, but in 12 months' time, when their unemployment rate's in double digits, that will be a horrible situation.
I keep saying to people, it's not for me to comment on what other governments do.
Yeah. I fear for Victoria and I worry about what their government may do.
It's not for me to comment on what other governments do.
Yeah. Victoria did it very successfully. And you're saying...
No, they didn't. And in New South Wales, we didn't make up lists of who was an essential worker.
It's up to others as to how they lead their states. I'm not going to comment, even though it's very tempting sometimes.
And we would have hoped that other states would have built their resilience during periods of borders being up or lockdowns. We proudly welcome everybody from every state, except understandably from Victoria.
I love that line. I'm going to play it again. We welcome people from every state except from Victoria. I love that.
Understandably from Victoria.
I love that.
Or lockdowns. We proudly welcome everybody from every state, except understandably from Victoria.
You wouldn't have been surprised, though, that the other states knocked back your request for more Pfizer doses, given that just last month you said that we couldn't give our Pfizer, New South Wales couldn't give its Pfizer to Victoria.
Well, I'm not sure what comments you're referring to, but I heard
So
that Victoria wants some of our Pfizer vaccines. They're not getting it. I can't.
Well, other states have chosen to close their borders very quickly. They've chosen to have lockdowns for prolonged periods very quickly.
You know, I don't want to compare ourselves to other states.
I just want to say that in general, there have been a couple of examples across more than one state. Now, Minister Hazzard and Dr. Chan and others are too polite to say this.
It's not for me to comment on what other governments do. You know, I don't want to compare ourselves to other states.
We are the only state that has such intense COVID-safe plans for businesses, community events and community gatherings. We're very proud of that. I'm very proud every time the Prime Minister regards New South Wales as a gold standard. And,
You know, I don't want to compare ourselves to other states.
look, that's something for Victoria to manage, and it's not something we'd do in New South Wales. New South Wales. Other states.
That walk and that strut. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but there's been 107,000 views of that video. Anyway. Did you want another one? Because I can do one more. I don't mind. These are funny. So we've got media training with Health Minister. We've got the authorised workers. That aged well. That's where Scotty and Frydenberg say that they're gold standard. 17-page. Let's go for the 17-page list, because this, you can't stand her voice. This baffled me because, all right, this is the last one, I promise you, okay? Last one. This is the mystery 17-page list. So apparently, Victoria's authorised workers list says a short case study in exaggeration. Listening to this morning's press conference with New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian, my ears picked up when I heard her speak about a 17-page list of essential workers put out by other states. It wasn't the first time I've heard her speak about such a list, particularly in a reference to Victoria. Besides the fact it took the New South Wales government weeks in the second wave to even define what essential work was, it seems there was a perfectly good list available south of the border that Gladys could have borrowed to clear up any essential confusion. If anyone has seen this mysterious 17-page list in the wild, let me know in the comments. TikTok song? Is there a TikTok song? Is there? All right, well, is it about Gladys? All right, I'll have a look. Is it? All right, I'll have a look shortly. Right, so let's do this. This is the 17-page list.
Good morning, everybody. Our authorised work, just to put things into comparison, our authorised workers list is very short. Victoria's list was about 17 pages in comparison. For example, other states had an authorised workers list going to 17 pages. I asked people to look at the fact Victoria's list was about 17 pages in comparison.
So it's a word count. Victoria's was 917, New South Wales is 835.
Other states had an authorised workers list going to 17 pages. Victoria's list was about 17 pages in comparison. Our authorised work, just to put things into comparison, our authorised workers list is very short. The authorised workers list for those 8 or 9 local government areas is very short compared to what other states had. But just to put things into comparison, I asked people to look at the fact Victoria's list was about 17 pages in comparison. But just to put things into comparison, I asked people to look at the facts as to how harsh the lockdown is in those local government areas. For example, other states had an authorised workers list going to 17 pages. The authorised workers list
for those 8 or 9 local government areas is very short compared to what other states had. Victoria's list was about 17 pages. Just to put things into comparison, Victoria's list was about 17 pages in comparison.
There has always been rivalry, Princess Jacks, between Victoria and New South Wales because they're the 2 biggest states. New South Wales is larger. Back in the day when they were trying to work out where the capital was, they were fighting. So the capital got moved to the middle, which was Canberra. That's why the capital city is Canberra. And because Victoria and New South Wales couldn't stop bickering. Okay. I don't think I've got a login for TikTok though. Do you have to log in? So yeah, there's always rivalries. So, and one of the reasons why she won't do what Victoria has done is because it's Victoria. I'm certain of that. Yeah, the capital was Melbourne for a short time, very short. Yeah, back in the day, like we're talking about, 1900s. No, I can't find it. It's a direct link, so you have to. Oh, okay. All right, I need to grab the link then and send it to myself. Where was it? Is it the Gladys song? Yeah, New Zealand's part of New South Wales back for a day. TikTok. And that's the problem. Victoria learnt the hard way. We had to learn the hard way. And that's why we now go hard and fast, because we've learned. To be honest with you. We'll get to Katie Joy in a minute. Because that is, but you think Buzz is bad. This is. What was it? Okay. Oh yes, Super. Yeah. Can't find the link again. You send it again for me, Amy? Well, and that's the other thing. She doesn't like the Doherty. She doesn't like anything from Victoria. Essentially. If it's Victorian, she doesn't want to know. Oh, really? Oh, no, I don't want Victoria to be the new gold standard. I don't want that. But what's it called? And I'll see if I can find it. Well, Tasmania's doing pretty good. They're trying to escape. That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all that house prices are going through the roof. The country is going through, the country areas in Melbourne are the same. Prices are going through the roof. People are leaving the city. So, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, wait on. I need to, give me a minute. I know why that's doing it, because I have to make a change in here. Just bear with me for a moment. Links. Is it that one? I have to, there is something in here that I need to do to allow you to do it. I thought I changed it. Let's have a look. Give me a moment. Talk amongst yourself for a moment. Options. Here we go. No, that's not that one. Filters. There is one for web pages, a website, and it's the moderators that can do it and above. Nope, not there. All right. I have to check the other one. Here we go. It's here. Hang on. All right, links. I'm gonna you should be able to do it now. If you can do it now for me, Amy, and then I'll put it back on. I've just disabled it for a moment. The rent is, yeah, I think so. Rent's definitely doubled. Although it does say that everyone should be able to do it. All right. So today was the harassment hearing between Little Miss Noble and Katie Joy. Little Miss Noble's not her real name, but I'm not going to say her real name. No, I haven't seen it. I don't know why it's not showing up. Because I have. No. So now something happened, and it's been scheduled. Now there's Katie Joy's version of what happened, and then I'm sure the truth is out there somewhere. But let's see what she had to say. Has anyone seen her stuff? I will tell you now that I actually had intended on going to the hearing. I actually found the information on the webpage. And this is what she wrote. Now, I have been told everyone can say sources. I've been told that, why is that not happening? That it was a public hearing. I've had it confirmed that it was a public hearing. In fact, I know it was a public hearing. So this is what she wrote. Today's hearing was private and not open to the public. My legal team nor I provided. That makes no sense. My legal team nor I provided the link to the hearing to anyone. Therefore, the only person that could have given the Zoom link and password is the other party. This is likely a violation of the harassment order. Now, it's pretty low when you make accusations about somebody that can't actually respond to you, because if they respond to you, you'll say that they've breached the order, because that's essentially, she's not allowed to reply and she's blocked anyway. Katie Joy's blocked from that person's account, so they can't see it anyway. So I think it's a little bit, I think it's very nasty that she's done that. It fits in with her narrative. All right, so then she's done this. Ali True Sleuth violated my privacy and safety today by attempting to attend a private hearing related to an RO I have against the party. Ali did not get the password or link from me, and it was not public. She either obtained it from the party I'm protected from or a friend of theirs. Anyone in contact with the party should be warned that she's under a strict order by the court to have no direct or indirect contact with me. This includes third parties. YouTubers like Ali attempting to attend a private hearing will be dealt with. It wasn't private. The court, now, here's where we get really interesting, because Truth Sleuth actually showed receipts of it all. She showed that, and I've also seen emails of people asking the court whether it was private and whether they could attend, and the court sending them the information. And this is what really, really, really annoys me. So she says, this is what Ellie says. Hi, cheap glass. Well, that's a thing. And the other thing is, she's trying to get a response out of Little Miss Noble. So if Little Miss Noble actually responds, she can say that she's breached the orders. Proof the hearing was public. Shut up, WICB. Thank you to my Discord cult for the receipts. Court calendar reflect scheduled courtroom hearings, but they do not include all matters handled by the court. Confidential cases and cases that are not remotely accessible under Minnesota Public Access Acts are not posted in this calendar. If your case does not appear on the calendar, do not assume that your court appearance has been cancelled or rescheduled. Paulson Catherine, Remote Courtroom G, 13th of the 8th, 2021, 11:30 a.m. The court. So it was the court listing was published. Then she says screen recording for skeptics. So now she's showing the screen recording, and if you actually look at the recording, there is actually a link. So she's showing that it's actually screen recorded. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. And it also has, I think it also shows the court number. Okay. So there's that one. So Ali's going, well, hang on a minute. It's public. So KJ's thing was the judge didn't feel comfortable of letting 34 people into the courtroom or whatever. But there's no, I've had it confirmed that it was a public hearing, and I've had it confirmed that it wasn't postponed due to the fact of the people in the waiting room. That's all I've had confirmed. And that's all I can say. There's lots of people out there that have got the receipts of the court hearing. I've seen emails. I've seen somebody with an email that they said, I'm trying to think who it was, just inquiring to know whether this is a public case. Hello, Terry. So it's been now postponed until the 8th of October. Now, the rumour is that it gives little Miss Noble a chance to get proper legal representation. And that actually makes the most sense, in my opinion. That's the rumour. That's not been confirmed or denied. I'm just trying to think who had it. Who had the receipt for the email to say that it was public. There's lots of receipts going around to say that it was public. Wait till you get onto the Todd Chrisley stuff. It is hilarious. Yeah. What I'm hoping that, what I would do if it was me is, if I was in little Miss Noble's shoes, I would be taking all the screenshots from today and showing to the lawyer to see what we can do, because it's obvious that Katie Joy is trying to get a reaction out of her, and I think it's really rude that she's trying to get a reaction out of her. So I just find that to be unbelievable. And she does a video on Todd Chrisley, and then she goes on live and does, yes, that is a breach plan to create. That's the other issue. Yes, she's not allowed to. She's in breach. In my opinion, she's breached it. Yes, that's the USA. I mean, there was over 500 or 600 people in court yesterday for Shanks and Browse, you know. See if Reddit's got it. A lot of people said that they actually went onto the court website and all the information was there, how to log in. So yes, I would. That to me would be a harassment. It would be a harassment. Oh, that's taunt. That would be harassment, I think. It would have to be, because how can you taunt somebody that's supposed to be your harasser? The thing is that that little Miss Noble's actually blocked, and fortunately she can't see Katie Joy, and Katie Joy can't see her. So let's have a look to see. Oh, there you go. This is Truth Sleuth. Yeah, that's Truth Sleuth stuff. So everyone's got that. I'm just on the Reddit at the moment having a look. Yeah. And then she was trying to say that it was because of her minor child, and then people pointed out to her that she went to Josh Duggar's trial, and she said, well, that's because it's okay because they were unnamed minor children. Here, see the justification? The justification, like, it's okay if you do it, but it's not okay if I do it. Sorry, it's okay if I do it, but not okay if you do it. So let's go, let's go the next place to Instagram and watch the live. But now you've got to understand in the timeline, this was after her video on Todd Chrisley. She'd already done a video on Todd Chrisley, and I don't know that I really want to sit through that. I don't want to sit through two lots of her. So, but you need to see this, because I think she also, in my opinion, she oversteps the mark in here as well. And she gets what she wants. She gets sympathy. That's all that she really wants, in my opinion, is the sympathy. To say, oh, they're picking on me. All right. So those of you that don't know about Katie Joy, she's a YouTuber. Anyway, so this goes for 25 minutes. There's no way, any circumstance that because so-and-so said someone is gay makes it okay. Anyway, so for those of you that have been following along, you know that there's some video footage of her referring to Todd Chrisley being gay. She is stating, she says that she repeated something that one of his sons said. So we know that that's not true either. All right, so here we go. And this is apparently what she wore to court. All right, here we go. And just called it, "This is ridiculous."
Hey guys. Hi guys. I don't know why this is blurry.
Well, and that's the thing, Plan to Create. No one would have known about the harassment order if she hadn't have blasted it everywhere. Nobody would have known anything about it. We wouldn't have even known where to go if she hadn't have said where she lived. That's how I found it, because she said they were an hour from the Canada border or something like that. I just had the map of Minnesota, found out where Canada was, and worked my way back. That's how I found it. It was all because of her. I had no idea what county she would be in.
Why is this blurry? Does anyone know? Does it look blurry? Hi. Does it look blurry? Does it look blurry? I don't know why it looks blurry. Is it light? Is it
Fox. Oh, dear me. What a great pause that is, eh? Shall we make her bigger? Oh, dear. I think you'll find that they're padded, the Fox, just out of interest.
Does it a light? Does it need to be brighter?
She has a ring light sitting next to a chair? Really?
Why can't I see it? Oh. Not really. Hello. Hi. For some reason, my chat was not too blurry.
No, I didn't, Shalia. She gets out.
It's not blurry. Okay. It looked blurry. You think it's the lady? Okay. Hi.
No, I believe I've been told it's a padded bra, but I don't know. But it might be. Go back and look. What, in this chat? Oh, in her IG. All right, I'll have a look. Hang on. Oh, was that about the gay thing? The trans? I think something about... All right, I'll have a look. Remind me later. I'll make a note of it.
Looks okay to me. Not at all on your end. Okay. Not blurred. You guys, so today was crazy. And really crazy. I had to take care of a bunch of things legally today. And I just uploaded a video about Todd Chrisley that
she had to take care of things legally today. K-haters on her.
That I want you guys to watch, because what is being said about me online is not actually what's taking place privately. And what he wants you guys to believe is true is not what he's after, or not what he's even looking for.
Really? Oh, we have to look at his tweets too, because there's some classic ones there. So we'll look at his Twitter after this, because he goes to town.
And it's pretty crazy.
particularly after this and particularly after her video that she did on him.
He got a letter from his attorney, and they think that I have a relationship or that I have a connection to a guy that he's suing. Literally. He believes that I have a connection to a person that investigated him for tax fraud. And he thinks that I
Hi, Valerie. Yes, it's going to need popcorn.
have known Lindsay since 2017. That's literally what we got in our letter today. They think that I know about their tax investigation, and they want all of my communication with the tax official that they're suing. And they think that
I don't know, really, Mr. Obvious. I really don't know.
have had a relationship with this guy, or not like physical, you know. Like, he literally thinks that like I have received information from this person. So he's demanding all communication from Joshua Waits, and he thinks that I have been in communication with this man since 2017. Publicly, he is saying that I have defamed him. Okay?
But you have, in my opinion.
Publicly. Privately, his lawyers have not identified a single video or statement that I've made at all that qualifies as defamation, and they have not told us a single video, statement, or post that they would want taken down. They've literally provided us nothing like that.
But, you know, she's been denying that there was any communication before. Now she's admitting that there has been. Oh, and I was watching her body language, because there's something where she's talking about at the end and her head starts, she's going, yeah, her head will contradict her body soon. So we're learning body language too.
That's nothing.
Her eyes are darting.
So when I don't know why he would believe that. Check my video out on YouTube about the situation.
Obviously, her views are down. Or B Little says, then why has she made her videos private if she's done nothing wrong? That's true.
And just watch it.
Please go watch my video.
He keeps saying he's going to sue me, but that's not what they want. It's ridiculous. That's not what they want at all. They have never, the litigation component of it has just been this tiny little thing. It's like been a footnote. They want my communication with Joshua Waits and Lindsay Chrisley. And they think that I've known these people since 2017.
She just said that she did.
I have never spoken to Joshua Waits in my entire life.
She said she's been friends with Lindsay since 2017, just a minute ago.
I don't know Joshua Waits. I've had no connection to Joshua Waits. I've never seen their taxes. I don't know a thing about. I found out about the indictment when everyone else found out about the indictment, when it was like revealed by the feds and they put out the press release, and there was this massive story that went wild. So they think that I've known Lindsay since 2017, and they think that I've known Joshua since 2017.
The eyes are darting left to right. Well, he says that they've got the communication. Yeah, she only had 200 people in there or something, 267. Her eyes are darting back and forth.
I've never talked to Joshua, ever.
Look at did you watch the eyes? Did you watch the eyes roll? Let's go back, have a look. I told you I'm getting good at this. No, I'm not. Watch the eyes.
I've never talked to Joshua.
Up.
Ever.
To the left, and now it's up. They're up.
Ever. like not via email, not via DM, never by phone.
And the head's shaking to the left and right. So she's saying never, never, never. And her head's going, no, no, no. Lie, lie, lie.
I've never talked to Joshua.
The head.
Ever. Like not via email, not via DM, never by phone. Never.
She's shaking her head. No, he means Adam Pease, the body language expert. Joe heard there's going to be a new lawsuit by the end of the month. I know of Todd Chrisley. I've read between the lines of somebody else that's suing, and I also know there's a possible one that could occur after the harassment order's done too. There could be at least 3 or 4 coming her way.
And Lindsay and I looked back at my communication on Instagram. The very first day we ever talked was August 25th, 2019. And that was like a week.
But you just said that you knew her from 2017. Never talked. Well, she's talking about Instagram, but there was text messages. You think Roadhog's going for her too? Well, that could be another one. There could be 5. How many? What's the record for number of lawsuits in a year, you reckon?
Or 2 after the indictment, and it was after the story went viral.
So she's talking about Instagram. She's not talking about text messages.
About the what do you call it? It's after the story went viral about the attempted alleged extortion. So I walked into this situation after they were indicted, after Joshua Waits had been part of whatever the investigation was.
It is awesome to have somebody from South Africa with us. It really is. It's really cool. Thank you.
Lindsay does not speak about me publicly.
So now she's going to say why Lindsay doesn't speak about her. And this is the biggest load of crock I've ever heard.
Because of what her dad is doing.
Why does it matter what her dad is doing to Katie Joy? Why, if your friend was being attacked by your father and you didn't get on with your father, wouldn't you be defending your friend? Wouldn't you publicly come out and say, my dad is being really nasty to this person? Right. Look at the wide eyes.
Can't understand that. I don't know what else to tell you. Like,
if you don't understand,
because of what her dad is doing. If you can't understand that, I don't know what else to tell you.
So if you don't understand, that's what I'm saying, Princess Jax. If Lindsay was a friend, she would defend her. Exactly. Particularly if it was your father doing it. You would stand in.
Like, she doesn't. Because her dad follows everything she does and monitors everything she does. So she just gets, he follows her.
Now he's stalking, and now he's stalking Lindsay too. Beep, beep, beep. If you don't understand, don't talk about it. Oh dear.
And I think she just doesn't want to make anything worse. And as far as Lindsay goes, I talk to her privately, and that's it. Like, he has this really strange delusion that he thinks that I publish things that Lindsay begs me to publish, and that's like not true.
Well, that's what one of his claims is. Well, that's the right claim to correct. She doesn't follow. Oh, apparently, that's to protect her from Todd. As I said, it sounds like a load of crock, in my opinion.
If I see something that I feel compelled to publish, I publish it. If I want to share something, I share it. Nobody tells me what to publish. Nobody tells me what to do. Nobody tells me how to run my channel. Nobody tells me how I report things.
A judge might have something to say about that down the track.
And I don't speak about her because I do respect her privacy, and it's none of my business to share what she tells me. Like, that's always been my thing with her. And that's like, when it went, there comes a point when you get from, okay, at one time we connected as blogger and reality star.
She's a blogger. In her video against Todd Chrisley, she refers to herself as a reporter again, by the way. Oh, dear.
But then when it crossed the threshold of being friends, you have to set a boundary in your relationship, and you have to make a decision on, are you going to keep it professional or are you going to be friends? And if you're going to be friends, then you have to respect their privacy when they tell you things. And you can't tell things just because you know them. It's no different than if you have a friend that isn't in the public eye. You don't go spill your friend's secrets just because you can.
She's not a reporter. She's a gossiper. She is.
I haven't put anything out differently.
Oh, really, BS?
Than what has actually been reported. He was trying to say that I was questioning his sexuality, and
you were. We've seen it. KJ is not a reporter. She refers to herself as a reporter. Oh, really? She refers to herself as a reporter 20 times in the TC. Wow. Well, then, yeah. Well, if she was a reporter, they have standards and a code of ethics. She could be reported for breaching the code of ethics then, couldn't she? I actually haven't seen that video.
That all came from his son. His son made a claim that he was gay, and he spoke to, I don't know if it was Radar.
Has anyone ever heard her in the videos that they've seen of her refer to the son selling her? And again, just because somebody says it doesn't mean it's true. Hello, Jenna.
Online or some outlet, and it was put out in 2016 or 2017. So his son is the one that started that rumor, and me repeating that.
You don't have to repeat it. You don't have to repeat it. Plus, why would you even spread that type of stuff regardless? Hello, Kelly. Because just because somebody says something doesn't mean that you have to go run and tell it. And from what I've seen of the footage, she doesn't say that it came from a son. Well, he's right about that. As TC says, when she's being sued, she's a reporter. When she's being harassed, she's a private citizen. Correct.
And saying, this is what his son said. And then saying, well, if that's true, I don't know that that's questioning his sexuality. That's just literally saying, well, this is what his son said. If his son has retracted that now.
Well, then you need to retract it. Joseph Bros says, who is this lady and what is her contribution to society? That's a very good question.
That's fine. But I don't have a relationship with Joshua Waits, and I have nothing to offer him about Joshua Waits. And I am not going to give up information about him because he wants information.
Hang on. She says she doesn't have any information, and then she says she's not going to give up information about him. Have a listen to what she says. Listen to that. Have a listen.
Mentioning his sexuality, that's just literally saying, well, this is what his son said. If his son has retracted that now, that's fine.
Have a listen.
But I don't have a relationship with Joshua Waits, and I have nothing to offer him about Joshua Waits.
Now listen to this.
And I am not going to give up information about him because he wants information that a judge already denied.
That is contradiction in one. That's a contradiction in one sentence. So she said, I don't know him. And then she says, I'm not going to give up information about him. So does she have information about him or doesn't she? And look at the eyes. The eyes. The eyes have it. Do you want me to play that back again? Did you want that? Did you want to hear that again? That phrase again? Because it's very interesting. All right, let's have another listen. Have a listen.
That's fine. But I don't have a relationship with Joshua Waits, and I have nothing to offer him about Joshua Waits. And I am not going to give up information about him because he wants information that a judge already denied.
So she doesn't know anything about it, and then she's not going to give up any information. What is it, Katie Joy? Do you have information or don't you have information? What's the verdict? She's always a protected citizen. Whatever. What's your thought? Does she have information or doesn't she? Because she's just, from what I've just heard, contradicted herself. Yes, she has no information and she's not given it up. That's right. That's my question, Shelley. And that's the other thing. She probably knows everything from Lindsay. Her lies align it, yeah. So anyway, you confused, Mr. Obvious? I am too. That's right, we get worse.
He already tried to get the same exact communication from Lindsay.
There we go.
The same lawsuit.
So he tried to get it out of so this is what she's saying. I think she's gonna fold when the heat gets hotter. Oh boy. Hello, Sandy. Lindsay would have told her heaps of stuff. I'm certain of that. But yeah, it's just the fact that she says, I've got no information. She's mad for court, yeah, the 8th to the 10th.
On the same lawsuit. He tried to get all of her communications with me and all of her communications with Joshua, and it was already denied. So you can't just try to, so you couldn't get it from Lindsay, so now you're going to get it from me? That's so weird.
But I thought you had nothing. I thought now she's going to go. She's going to contradict everything that he said, and she's going to get mad because, particularly when she talks about the court hearing today, and people have said that, well, how is people turning up to Josh her thing any different to her turning up to Josh's thing?
Desi's not dragging me, is she? I don't think he did get her phone records, no. I think he got like some stuff, but no. He doesn't have all of her communication.
How does she know? How does she know that confidently that he doesn't have that he doesn't have all of Lindsay's communication? How does she know? How can she say that with some certainty? Unless somebody's told her. You see? It's what she's giving away more in this live than she just needs to keep her mouth shut.
Like, that's not true.
How does she know for certain that Todd doesn't have all of the communication? Yeah, because she's just told him that there's more. This is what I'm saying. She's an idiot.
Her own attorney acknowledges that they won't win trying to fight it. Yeah, that's not true.
Now, remember, Todd read out on his podcast something from her attorney. No, I don't know who her lawyer is, although she refers to her as a she. And look at the smirk on her face. No, that's not true. Her lawyer never said that. Again, how does she know?
That's not true.
Look at the face. She's smiling. How does she know all of this?
His tax, just go watch my video. His lawsuit is about one count of taxes. It's related to Josh Waits showing someone taxes, which I've never seen.
Well, it's funny. Todd Chrisley did a retweet of that. And then somebody says he wanted to know what she was wearing. And somebody said she's trying to dress like Lindsay. And he goes, no, she can't afford it. Oh, anyway. I know. Would you like me to use it like a mirror?
He doesn't have her phone records.
How do you know?
And it's, oh my God, you guys.
You're so vain. I bet you think this life is about you. You're so vain.
He's going off on Katie because he wants Lindsay. He wants his daughter.
She's just started talking in third person, and her eyes are darting everywhere. So he's saying, he's now he wants Katie to get to Lindsay. But that's not what she said before. She said before that he wanted the guy. Now she's saying that he wants Lindsay.
In my opinion, he wants his daughter. He can't get the information from his daughter, so he wants it from me.
But why? You're so nondescript, according to Mr. Chrisley.
He thinks I have a relationship with Joshua Waits, and I don't.
Yeah, she gets really aggro. She actually ends this. This is why it's only 25 minutes and not an hour.
Anyways, go watch the video.
Yes, because I need the money.
And then a lot of people were like making a really serious matter in my life today.
All right, here we go. We're going to start talking about the court case. Again.
Part of their entertainment. And I just want to say something without saying the person's involvement here. But today I had a hearing for a restraining order, and it involves my minor child. And today in a hearing, 32 people tried to join the hearing. And the hearing information from what we could find online was not publicly available.
It was so hard that a fool like myself found it. And I actually set my alarm clock to get up to watch it, but I slept through it. But it was there. I saw it.
The docket listed the court date hearing, but it did not list the Zoom invite information or the login information. And 32 people attempted to get into this hearing. During the hearing, the judge asked why 32 people were waiting in the waiting room and was very confused about that because
he wanted to know who did she think she was to have 32 people waiting. I have been told that it's got, go back, you notice how she puts her hand, yes, go back a bit, back here.
From what we could find online was not publicly available. The docket listed the court date hearing. But
also listed that it was Zoom Room G, actually.
It did not list the Zoom invite information or the login information.
There you go. Her hand.
And 32 people attempted to get into this hearing. During the hearing, the judge asked why 32 people were waiting in the waiting room and was very confused about that because he said he was not allowing anyone to witness this case unless they were a party to the lawsuit or a witness.
Maybe there were 32 witnesses. I'm sure all of the 32 people could actually testify about the harassment. Well, someone does actually bring up Josh Duggar, and her explanation is they were unnamed minor children. Her son has a name. But it actually says, if you look at the docket, it says Catherine Paulson and Nor. It doesn't even say. Oh, no, we're all witnesses. That's right, we're all witnesses.
So they wanted to know why 32 people were in the waiting room trying to watch the case, which involves my minor son. And
as I said, I believe, this is what I believe, that it was so that little Miss Noble could get proper legal representation. That's why it was adjourned or rescheduled. So that has nothing to do with this.
We spent like 10 minutes of the judge's time trying to figure out why 32 people were trying to get into.
She goes, "It's the trolls, Your Honor, the trolls." And he goes, "Oh, I can't deal with this. Let's move it to October because I'm only 2 months away from retiring." It's Todd Chrisley. It's the cult. It's the trolls. Yeah. It's everybody. Everybody else but me.
This courtroom, and he didn't let anyone in at all.
But that's his prerogative. That's his choice. 32 journalists. That's right. They were journalists. They were journalists. Well, the court can decide who doesn't. It wasn't the butler. I bet you. Hey, I'm surprised there was only 32. I would have expected to have been a lot more.
And he said he wasn't going to let anyone in because they weren't witnesses. So people are going back and forth on Twitter and saying that it was a public hearing. If it was a public hearing, he would have let you in and he would have allowed you to watch, but he did not let anyone in and he didn't let anyone watch. He asked my attorney if there were witnesses, and he asked the other party if they were witnesses.
So he didn't say, was there another law firm? He said the other party. I believe it was to do with legal representation. I know I was disappointed that there was only 32, to be honest. I was, yeah, it's a poor showing, short order cook. You were in BS, were you? So was it to do with legal representation? It was adjourned, wasn't it? So what happened, BS? So you got in? That's what I'd like to know, what it was. What was the reason? Was it to do with legal representation for the Miss Noble? So you got in, but she's talking about, oh, wow. I would have been the 33rd if I'd been awake, but it was like because it kept getting delayed. Yeah, BS, I'd be interested to see what the adjournment was. The other thing is she says that you can't get her lawyer says you can't get the information about the harassment order, but I found something on the Minnesota court site that says that as soon as the other party has been served, that they become public documents. It's like, yeah, BS, spill the beans.
And they asked my attorney why there would be 32 people in the waiting room, and she said that she had no witnesses for today. And the judge was like, okay, so we are going to try to see if we can get and make sure this doesn't happen again. I don't know how that information leaked.
Wasn't leaked, it was on the website.
Because it shouldn't have been publicly available.
Calling, says Kelly Jones. It wouldn't have been on the docket. It wouldn't have been on the docket, shown on the docket if it was a private. Oh, no, being suspended, just rescheduled. Nothing really happens when it's Zoom. Okay, so really? Is that all that happened? Okay. Just rescheduled. So there was no reason for it other than the fact that, and was there a carry-on about the people in the waiting room? It's just nothing really happens when it's Zoom. Okay. Well, it looks like a standard. Well, that's what they do. Who's appearing for you? Do you have anyone to appear?
Now I've seen a document that was only sent to me and my attorney and the other party. That's like,
so she's accusing LMN for spreading the stuff out. So she's looking for a way to get LMN arrested now. But I think she's actually done damage to her thing, because if I was Little Miss Noble, I would be reporting her to the court. That's just what I would be doing.
On Twitter right now, and people are trying to say that they received that letter, but that letter would have only been sent to parties involved in the lawsuit. So I don't know how they would have this letter.
I've seen an email.
And the information provided, the case number, the phone login.
The case number is actually on the website. The case number is on the website. Again, that's how I found out the case number. I contacted the court. Oh.
I would never try to go into a private court hearing with a code that wasn't mine to have. That's actually like you can get in trouble with that. Legally.
Everybody that I went in, I believe, had to use they had to give their full name. That's what I believe.
And no. So I'm going to try to ensure that the next court hearing we don't deal with that, and we can get some private.
Because she's a public figure, you know, she's a socialite.
Because my son is a party to this case, and he's a child. He's 8 years old, and he's part of this law. He's part of the order of protection. But we are trying to protect my son and what.
Here we go. We're going to get
and his privacy. And I think the judge wasn't letting anyone in because it involved a minor.
Most everything is quite just really when somebody talks to judge. Conference between attorneys and parties is private. The judge comes back on. It was disappointing. Okay. So that was all that happened. Okay.
Because the restraining order is for me and my 8-year-old. Both of them are.
Oh, I thought she said, oh, she means the restraining orders. I was going to say, where did she get the other kid from? So you didn't hear anything, BS about the fact that mostly conferences between parties. Okay. So you didn't really hear say anything about the people in the waiting room or anything. Next time I'll say on media.
Josh Duggar's case didn't have identified minor children.
See, that's her justification. That's her justification.
And I don't know. He didn't let anyone in. That's all I know.
Well, I'm talking to somebody that got in. So up your nose with the rubbos.
He didn't let anyone in.
If you're watching,
my case is not a federal case.
If you're watching Katie Joy, we know somebody got in.
And then I saw people on Twitter sharing the code and trying to get in. And
that's not what you said before.
And my attorney said that the records are not public. You wouldn't be able to search for them. And harassment orders as a whole are generally not public.
Let me just show you something. You know that I like to come with receipts. Oh, this is from the Minnesota court website, just before we go. Well, I've got a few screenshots to show you anyway. Where are we? So this is called filling out a restraining order petition. This says, this is from the Minnesota court, and I'm sorry, I've only screenshotted part of it. So the restraining order, harassment restraining order, HR 102, whatever information you give to the court will become public information as soon as the court receives notice that the respondent has been served with their HRO. The HAR 102 is what she would have filled out. That's under the domestic violence and harassment. Domestic violence and harassment order form, which is a HAR 102. Or violence against women.
So I don't know. She said they appear on the docket, but generally the codes are not just handed out. It's on the public calendar, but something being on the public calendar doesn't mean that it's a public hearing.
Yes, it does, because we've seen that. I don't think she is, Laura.
If it was a public hearing,
She's just wiped it. She's just wiped her mouth again and wiping the lies out of her mouth again.
the judge would have allowed all the 32 people to come in and watch, and he didn't. What's not true? Did the judge actually let the 32 people in or no? Because he didn't. I don't have a GoFundMe, so I don't know how I'm stealing money from anyone. I guess
I do have to say
my necklace is a heartbeat.
The ones that were called in were not kicked as easily as the ones that were on Zoom. All right. Okay. Well, I mean, what happens is when you're online, sometimes the system doesn't kick people out or has a limit on how many people can go in. And if they've set a certain number, then people can't get in. And it could be simple as that.
And it's got my son's information on it.
It's got her son's information on it. But he's not dead. Have a listen. He's not dead, though.
My necklace is a heartbeat. And it's got my son's information on it.
Why would you need to have your son's information on something when the kid still is in the house? She needs new stickers for her planner.
I don't know how they got the code. And I saw them talking about the code. How is that inconsistent?
But how can you see people talking about the code when half of them are blocked? Half of those people would have been blocked, by the way. In Australia, you have to email the court. So to get into the Shanks Barilaro case, I had to email the court. They don't ask you any questions. They just send you a link. And that's it.
I don't know how they got the code, but people were passing the code around or saying they were going to DM people with the code. I don't know how they got it. How is that inconsistent?
From the website. She's deleting everybody at the moment. We are a cult, allegedly.
And I don't have any public. We had a GoFundMe when my son was in the hospital when he was a baby, and then another one when he was like 5 or 3 or 4 before he had heart surgery, and that's it. We're not stealing money. He was literally on life support and almost died. literally have to let people enter. Nobody was entered.
Nobody was entered. She obviously couldn't see who was in them.
We did have the restraining order is in effect until the hearing in October. That's not son. That's not true. Our GoFundMe made $5,000, and that paid for my son's medical.
That paid. Listen to what she does. A slip of the tongue. That paid for my husband's son's medical.
And that paid for my son's medical bills. And that's what it went for. Does $5,000 afford you a house 8-9 months later? No.
I can see why she gets those things confused, because she does sleep with her son and not her husband. So, you know, I shouldn't say it like that. It sounds gross, but you know what I mean.
They didn't allow anyone to enter because the judge didn't want anyone in the proceedings. The proceedings involved my child.
So she's saying that no one was allowed in because, yes, I know, I saw that one, Christine. It's interesting how she's going on about her child. So did you email? Did you email the court BS? Well, and don't forget, this is somebody that's supposed to be frightened and everything, and she's talking about all of this, and she shouldn't be talking about it. But she's made accusations about the other party, which I think are bad. And I hope Little Miss Noble can take some action, because I think I would like to see the action where they tear up the restraining order, because she's in my opinion, she's breaching it. She's talking about it. She's trying to get a reaction. Really done.
For the judge to have let anyone in, it would have been wrong, almost at a level of misconduct. I don't know. He just said he wasn't allowing anyone in.
I wish now that I didn't sleep in and seen if I could get in, because I would have loved to have been.
My son is is a party to this, and
I would have loved to have been able to say, hey, I can get in. I was there, but no, I wasn't. I slept.
Anyways, today was a long day, and I want to protect my child, and if people cannot respect that aspect of it, I don't know what to tell you guys.
You're not listening. You're not following. You're not buying my story.
Yeah, it's a heartbeat.
Don't show us your chest.
But go watch my video on the Chrisleys, and you'll see what's going on.
And that's her gone. Bye-bye. Right. So that's that. So let's have a look at, I need to just make this smaller again, and then I want to look at the comment that was made. Oops. Oh, I just lost it. Just close it. I'll go back to it in a minute. All right. She has a blister on her delete finger. So let's have a look at what Todd Chrisley said. So these were some of his reactions to this. And I do actually have and we're going to finish off with that TikTok. So this is so it says, KJ's I'm a victim crying streams for super chats begins in 4321. He says, WTF is this? And he retweeted it. So she can't pay with a GoFundMe because no one will fund her. She tried begging last year and utterly failed, and it's going to cost her a hell of a lot more than a single mortgage payment. Hope you squish her like the nasty little stink bug she is. He retweeted that. She's going to run her mouth, Mr. Chrisley. That's what she does best. However, her mouth writes a long check that she can't cash. In fact, her account has been long overdrawn. It's time to close that mother down. As we say in the South, bless her heart. This one says, he says, count on it. All right. So this is a trash bag. Katie Joy's ignorant butt will be sitting for depositions, and her attorney's already been informed of that and agreed today that we have the right to depose her. She's delusional, trying to control the narrative. Can you record it? Depositions are usually videotaped. He said, count on it. Anyway, yeah, the Botox clone video. So then it's not up to the RIs to determine if she has wrongful information. If the court orders her to do depositions, she'll have to sit for them regardless of what she claims she has to offer or not, or she'll be in contempt of court. That was from Steve McRae. He retweeted that. Then he says she's sitting for a 7-hour deposition and she's going to be sued no matter how much poo she spits out. Her reality is approaching. I love she's making our job so much easier. That's what he's saying. Oh. Then it says, I wonder what outfit she wears. Something she's seen on Lindsay. And Todd says, what does he say? Must be up here. Something she's seen on Lindsay, and he says she can't afford that look. He says she can't afford that look. When a plaintiff wins a lawsuit, they can ask for anything. So Hun's saying he will take her channel is not extortion. Keane won the lawsuit and asked for the defendant's play button. She torts up her butt and her sheep will follow. We want her to continue talking. Trust me, every platform is watching and reviewing as we speak. So she says, I will be putting out the video in response to Todd Chrisley's continued attacks on reporting and my business. I have no interest in engaging mudslinging. And he says we want her to keep talking. Trust me, every platform is being watched and reviewed. So again, that video. Yes, we understand we are recording everything, so are the platforms. I'm not going to allow my platform to be a circus for that clown. Denial is sad, but reality for her is going to be worse. Then we've got, it will be recorded and posted, believe that, he says about the deposition. Same one, Katie's trying to inject herself into that for notoriety. It's what basic chicks do. So then it says, was Waits the guy who had a man locked up for passing him and was glad that he would stay through Christmas? That is pure evil, same one. But Katie's trying to inject herself into that for notoriety. That's what basic chicks do. He is going hard and fast. LOL, she's clearly coming apart at the seams, but let's sit back and watch this poo show. It gives us more ammo for that depot she isn't sitting for. So there you go. They are his tweets. What do you reckon about those tweets? He is not mucking around. He's just going at her. Let me tell you that. What are your thoughts on what he's saying? Just lost all my windows, all my tabs. Okay, I'm going to end in a minute because I've been going for 2.5 hours. Oops. I was going to have an earlier night. I was supposed to have an early night tonight, but here I am at 10 o'clock. So, yeah. I hope he follows through. Well, he says he is, and she's acknowledged that there's conversations with the lawyer. Okay, so here is the TikTok we're going to look at. And this will be our palette cleanser for the night. Oops. Huh. All right, it's called Another Day in New South Wales. I don't know what it's about. It's just been sent to me. I mean, this could be full of words that send Ralph into a spin, but I don't know. But we'll see, won't we? All right, let's have a look.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Based on the health advice, please note, I just want to stress 24, 65, 262 were infectious in the community. Vaccinate. As close to zero as possible. To 8 p.m. last night. No, that's not correct. Please note. Please note. Please note. Please note. The health advice. The health advice. The health on the health advice. I cannot stress enough. The Delta strain. Lockdown. Crystal ball. Test. Stop the spread. Spread. Oh, I don't know the answer to that question.
Oh, that's it, I think.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
That was it. The other thing was something on Instagram that, hello, Keno. Bye, Cal. So there's something on the Instagram live that Shelley wanted me to look at. It's like Dan's, are you ready? Are we ready? Or does he say, are we all set? So this was her on here, filing so many lawsuits while under federal indictment. Filing so many lawsuits while under federal indictment is going to work swimmingly for you. Focus on the 30 years you are facing. Gaslighting, deflection, and defaming innocent people for your problems isn't cute, in my humble opinion. And someone says, Katie, you're amazing. Suddenly disappointed in you. No respect. You said, I'm not going to pray. I don't believe in God. He's not the Duggar cult, but he is God, and you will stand before him. Brace yourself. You are going down, down, down. And then someone says, someone is talking about the Sasha Mikado story, and she says, for sure, it's complicated, whatever that means. So that was her. And then she also shared a picture of a Famey and of Lindsay. And then she says, I'll be putting out a video in response to Todd Crisley's continued attacks on my reporting of my business. I have no interest in engaging in public mudslinging. I will share the facts of what is happening and end the misinformation. There has been no lawsuit filed. Yes, I know. I'm getting there, Shelley. I was getting there. I got distracted. All right, so the comment here says, there is no way under any circumstances that just because so-and-so said someone is gay, that is okay for anyone to then call someone gay. I thought you supported the LGBTQ community, but clearly it's only propaganda to you. And just watch followers how she will block a trans woman who gives criticism. That is what her comments were. KJ's always, yeah. So that is what they've said. So facts are facts, not opinions. But that's what we said. Just because somebody has said this person's gay doesn't give you the right to repeat it unless you know for a fact. I think, well, as he said, he's just going to sit down and just watch her and watch her just talk, because what she's doing is she's talking herself. And the other thing is she's just given Little Miss Noble a really good defense, in my opinion, because her blaming Little Miss Noble for leaking all of that stuff to get a reaction out of her so she can then say, well, she's broken her restraining order, is very foolish. You cannot provoke somebody that you're scared of, allegedly. You can't say, Your Honor, I'm scared of this person, but I'm going to accuse them of everything on Twitter, even though that they're blocked, and make them react to me. Fortunately, that hasn't happened. But as I said, but the insider reported it doesn't mean, or said it, or somebody said it to a trash rag, doesn't mean that she has to repeat it. Absolutely obsessed with this too. Sorry, I've just shown Amy's minor child. I apologise. I didn't realise that. All right, good night. I'll be going in a minute too. And then she says, I mean, yeah, yep. All right. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to head off because, as I said, it's been 2.5 hours. I am, yes, so we've got church in the morning because it's online, and I've done a children's story tomorrow, which is going to be very interesting. I make a fool of myself. But, you know, she's giving her so much. She files an RO. It worked both ways. She can't tell in either even by third party. She's done it. Yes, that's what I'm saying, BS. I believe that she has. I believe she's in breach of her own restraining order. I mean, if I was Little Miss Noble, I would be filing urgent. I'd be filing for an urgent, something urgently.
Everybody based on the health advice. Please no, I just want to stress.
I'd be filing something to get it dealt with urgently. Well, that would be the other thing. I have heard people say they were contacting the court. I don't know whether they have or not, but that would be interesting to see if the court gets inundated with her breaching the orders. But anyway, all right, based on that note, I'm going to head off. So have a great day and night, everybody, and I'll speak to you tomorrow night, or unless I see you at church in the morning.